Hello, everyone. I'm Natasha, your host for today's episode. If this is your first time joining us, I want to let you know that we upload a new English learning video every single day to help you improve your English faster and in a smarter way. In today's lesson, we are going to explore a very powerful and practical topic that can truly help you take your vocabulary to the next level. This episode is all about mastering 500 useful English words that you can use in everyday life. These are the kinds of words you hear and use when you go shopping, cook at home, meet a friend, take a phone call, or just live your daily routine. In an English-speaking environment, you'll not only build your vocabulary, but you'll also improve your listening and speaking skills by learning how these words are used naturally in sentences. I'll walk you through practical examples, short conversations, and daily life exercises so that you can not only understand these words, but also start using them confidently in your own conversations. By the end of this video, you'll be able to recognize and apply these words with accuracy and fluency. And don't worry, we're going to practice step by step, and I'll guide you throughout. So, before we jump in, make sure you subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon if you want more helpful English learning episodes like this. Now, grab a pen and paper or open your notes app because we're about to get started on a journey to boost your vocabulary like never before. Let's begin with words that you will hear and use in your everyday routine right from the moment you wake up. Think about the first few things you do in the morning. You open your eyes, stretch, and get out of bed. You might use words like alarm, snooze, wake up, get ready, or freshen up. These are all common everyday words. For example, you might say, I wake up at 7 a.m. every day, or I hit the snooze button at least twice before getting up. The word snooze is particularly useful when talking about alarms and sleep routines. Try repeating this sentence with me. I usually snooze my alarm and sleep for 5 more minutes. Practicing these short daily actions with English vocabulary helps you train your brain to think in English throughout the day. Next, as you head to the bathroom, you might use words like toothbrush, toothpaste, shower, soap, towel, and mirror. These are the items we interact with daily, yet many learners forget to practice them in English. Here's a simple sentence. I brushed my teeth and took a quick shower before breakfast. Notice how natural and simple that sounds. Now, let's try to say it together. I brushed my teeth and took a shower. Try saying it slowly first, then more naturally and fluently. These kinds of exercises help you remember vocabulary through real-life context. Moving into the kitchen, you'll find words like kettle, mug, bread, butter, jam, cereal, spoon, bowl, coffee, and toast. These are words you should not just understand, but also be able to use when talking about your routine or having casual conversations with friends. A sample sentence could be, I made a cup of coffee and had toast with jam. Let's practice that. I made a cup of coffee. Then add, I had toast with jam. Notice how each noun adds value and clarity to the sentence. The more you use them, the more natural your English becomes. After breakfast, It's time to get dressed and start the day. Vocabulary related to clothes and getting ready is very common. Words like shirt, pants, shoes, jacket, comb, perfume, and bag are used frequently. You might say, I wore a white shirt and black pants today. Or, I put on some perfume and grabbed my bag before heading out. Let's repeat. I wore a white shirt today. Then say, I grabbed my bag and left for work. Practice speaking these phrases aloud so they become automatic in your mind. As you leave home, you encounter transportation-related words like bus, train, subway, ticket, station, fare, driver, traffic, and commute. You can say, I took the subway to work this morning, or the bus was late because of heavy traffic. Try saying this with me. The train station was crowded today. These are words and phrases that you will hear in almost every English-speaking country. Practicing them now will help you when you travel, go to work, or simply have a conversation about your daily life. At work or school, you're exposed to a completely different set of vocabulary. Words like computer, keyboard, mouse, file, document, meeting, presentation, deadline, and assignment are very common. You could say, I had a meeting with my manager today, or I submitted the assignment before the deadline. Practice with me. I worked on a PowerPoint presentation this morning, or I checked my email and replied to important messages. These words are part of the professional world, and learning how to use them will make you sound more fluent and confident. Let's now look at some conversational vocabulary that people use when they're talking with coworkers or classmates. Words like break, lunch, coffee, chat, joke, plan, schedule, and task are used during informal conversations. You might say, let's take a coffee break, or I need to finish this task before lunch. Repeat this. Let's meet after lunch and go over the schedule. Phrases like these help you sound more natural and approachable in the workplace or classroom. When you return home in the evening, the vocabulary shifts again. Now, you may talk about activities like relaxing, watching TV, cooking dinner, or reading. Words such as remote, sofa, lamp, cushion, recipe, ingredients, cook, and clean become more relevant. A daily sentence might be, I cooked pasta for dinner and watched a movie on the sofa. Practice with me. I relaxed on the sofa and watched my favorite show. Simple, right? The more you speak and hear these sentences, the faster your vocabulary grows. Here's a short paragraph for you to repeat and learn. Today was a busy day. I woke up early, took a quick shower, and had coffee with toast. I wore my black jacket because it was cold. I caught the bus just in time and reached the office before 9. I had 2 meetings and finished a report. After work, I went to the store to buy vegetables. Now I'm home, cooking dinner and relaxing. Repeat that paragraph sentence by sentence and try to visualize the routine. This helps in connecting the words with real actions. Let's now do a simple practice exercise. I'll describe a short routine, and I want you to listen carefully. Then, we'll go through the vocabulary used and repeat the key phrases. Ready? Emily wakes up at 6:30 every morning. She brushes her teeth, takes a warm shower, and makes oatmeal for breakfast. She dresses in casual clothes and catches the train at 7:30. At work, she answers emails, attends meetings, and works on projects. In the evening, she goes for a short walk, reads a book, and goes to bed by 10. Now let's go over the vocabulary. Wake up, brush, shower, oatmeal, breakfast, dress, train, emails, meetings, walk, book, bed. These are all useful daily words. Try making your own version of this story by replacing the name and time with your own details. To build vocabulary faster, one of the best ways is to learn words in context, not just as isolated words. For example, instead of just learning the word refrigerator, practice saying, "I put the milk back in the refrigerator." Instead of memorizing keys, say, "I couldn't find my keys this morning." These are small adjustments, but they help your brain connect the word with a real memory or mental image. Repeat, "I looked for my phone but couldn't find it." Then say, "I always put my phone on the nightstand before sleeping." These sentences use everyday objects and help you train your English mind. Another way to grow your vocabulary is to create a short diary of your daily routine using the words we've just learned. You can write or say something like, "This morning, I drank a glass of water, brushed my teeth, and had some cereal. Then I dressed quickly and ran to catch the bus." Doing this every day, even for 5 minutes, will build strong vocabulary habits. You'll also start noticing the words you don't know yet, and that gives you new learning targets. Try this exercise daily. Describe your morning, your afternoon, and your evening using English. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Let's now explore vocabulary that revolves around going out and socializing. When you go outside to meet a friend, visit a place, or simply enjoy your time, there are hundreds of common English words that become useful. You might say, "I met my friend at the cafe," or "We went shopping at the mall." Here, the words like meet, friend, cafe, shopping, mall, store, cashier, receipt, and discount are all part of everyday English vocabulary. For example, "I bought a new shirt from the clothing store," or "She paid the bill at the counter." Try saying these aloud. Practice makes these everyday expressions stick in your mind and feel more real in real situations. When you're eating out, vocabulary becomes centered around food, menus, and interaction with staff. Think of words such as menu, order, waiter, bill, tip, plate, napkin, spicy, sweet, drink, and dessert. You could say, "I ordered a spicy chicken sandwich and a cold drink," or "The waiter brought the dessert after the meal." Let's practice this sentence together. "Can I see the menu, please?" And then, "I would like to order a coffee and a sandwich." These are real-life conversations that you will likely use when visiting a restaurant or cafe. Repeating them out loud is a great way to internalize them. Now think about shopping in general, whether it's for groceries, clothes, or electronics. Common vocabulary includes basket, trolley, aisle, checkout, items, receipt, offer, price, expensive, and cheap. Let's say, I filled my shopping basket with fruits and snacks, or the cashier gave me a receipt after payment. Repeating useful shopping-related phrases helps you be prepared in real-life situations. Try saying, "Where can I find the bread aisle?" Or, "Do you have any discounts on these shoes?" These are questions that appear very often, and being familiar with them improves both your fluency and your confidence. Let's do a short vocabulary practice story. Imagine this. David went to the supermarket after work. He picked up a shopping basket and walked down the fruit aisle. He bought apples, bananas, and oranges. Then he added milk, eggs, and bread to his basket. At the checkout counter, he paid the bill and got a receipt. He put all the items into a bag and walked home. Now go back and identify the key words: supermarket, basket, aisle, apples, bananas, oranges, milk, eggs, bread, checkout, bill, receipt, bag. These are essential words that you can use to describe almost any grocery shopping experience. Now let's talk about home-related vocabulary. When you are describing your house, your room, or your surroundings, you use common words like sofa, lamp, curtains, window, door, floor, wall, mirror, chair, table, fan, air conditioner, bed, and blanket. You can say, I sat on the sofa and turned on the fan. Or, there's a mirror on the wall next to the window. Try repeating, I placed the lamp on the table near the bed. These small phrases describe daily activities and surroundings, helping you form simple yet powerful sentences in English. When talking about housework, words like clean, dust, sweep, mop, wash, dry, fold, iron, vacuum, and laundry are essential. You might say, I cleaned my room and did the laundry this morning. Or, I folded the clothes and placed them in the cupboard. Practice this sentence. I vacuumed the floor and mopped the kitchen. These action words, or verbs, are especially helpful when describing chores and routines. Saying them aloud and using them in short stories will make them easier to remember and use in conversation. Let's now do a daily life vocabulary practice paragraph together. Repeat each sentence and think of your own life as you say it. I woke up early and folded the blanket. Then I walked to the kitchen and made tea. After that, I cleaned the table and vacuumed the living room. In the afternoon, I did the laundry and hung the clothes outside. I later sat near the window and read a book. Go through that paragraph again and think about how many useful words are in it. These are words you will use again and again in daily conversation. Now let's shift to vocabulary related to technology, which is a big part of our everyday life. Words like phone, screen, battery, charge, app, notification, Wi-Fi, password, browser, email, message, and call are used constantly. You might say, my phone battery is low. Or, I downloaded a new app yesterday. Repeat with me. I checked my email and replied to some messages. Then try this one. I couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi, so I restarted the router. Using technology words in sentences helps you become fluent in talking about your devices and your online habits, which is now an essential part of modern communication. Speaking of communication, let's look at words that help you describe how you talk or interact with people. These include speak, say, tell, ask, answer, listen, talk, discuss, reply, and mention. These are basic, yet very powerful words. For example, I asked my friend about the movie, or she told me an interesting story. Repeat. I spoke to my manager about the new schedule. Then try this. I replied to all the messages before lunch. These kinds of verbs appear in almost every English conversation, so getting comfortable with them will boost your speaking ability. Let's now do a quick real-life vocabulary shadowing practice with a short dialogue. Imagine this mini conversation. A. Hey, did you watch the game last night? B. Yes, I did. It was really exciting. I missed it. Can you tell me what happened? B. Sure. Our team scored 2 goals and won. Now let's review. Words like watch, game, exciting, missed, tell, scored, and won are all used in everyday conversations, especially casual chats about sports or entertainment. Repeat the dialogue line by line and try replacing the topic. For example, instead of game, say movie. Try, hey, did you watch the movie last night? Practicing this way helps you become more flexible with vocabulary. Next, let's look at some health-related everyday words. These include sick, medicine, fever, cold, cough, doctor, clinic, prescription, and appointment. These are words that are very helpful when visiting a doctor or even explaining how you feel. For example, I have a cold and a slight fever, or the doctor gave me some medicine. Practice this. I booked an appointment at the clinic. Then say, I took a day off from work to rest at home. These sentences help you be prepared for real-life health situations in English. Here's a short story to practice these words. Sarah felt unwell in the morning. She had a headache and a slight fever. She went to the clinic and saw the doctor. The doctor gave her a prescription and told her to rest for 2 days. She bought the medicine and went home. She stayed in bed, drank lots of water, and felt better the next day. Let's go over the key words from that. Unwell, headache, fever, clinic, doctor, prescription, rest, medicine, bed, water. These are very common and essential words that every learner should be confident with. Let's finish this section with an activity. I'll say a paragraph, and you try to visualize it, then repeat it after me. I got a message from my friend inviting me to lunch. I replied quickly and said I would be there. I got dressed, wore my sneakers, and took the bus to the restaurant. We ordered pizza and juice. We talked about work, movies, and travel plans. After lunch, I returned home and watched a show on my laptop. Go through that again, sentence by sentence, and try to speak it aloud. This practice is all about connecting vocabulary with real action. You're not just memorizing words, you're learning how to live in English. Let's continue exploring more vocabulary that fits into daily life, especially around emotions and feelings. These words are incredibly important because we use them all the time to express how we feel. Words like happy, sad, tired, angry, excited, nervous, bored, confused, and relaxed are essential to describe your mood or reactions. For example, you can say, I felt really happy after talking to my family, or she looked tired after the long journey. Try saying this. I was excited to start my new job. Or, he was nervous before the interview. Describing emotions helps in both casual and formal conversations, and using these words makes your English more expressive and human. You can practice emotions in short stories. For example, yesterday, I was feeling bored in the afternoon, so I decided to watch a movie. The movie was very funny, and I laughed a lot. After watching it, I felt more relaxed and happy. Later, I talked to a friend and felt excited about our weekend plans. In just a few lines, we used at least 6 emotion-related words. That's how easily you can include them in your daily speech. Now let's talk about weather, which is a very popular small talk topic in English. Common vocabulary includes sunny, rainy, cloudy, windy, stormy, foggy, hot, cold, temperature, forecast, and umbrella. You might say, it's going to be rainy tomorrow, or the forecast says it will be sunny all week. Practice with me. I always carry an umbrella when it's cloudy. Or, the weather is too hot today. I need to stay inside. Weather vocabulary is not only useful, but it's also a great way to start a conversation with someone. Let's do a weather-focused practice story. This morning, the sky was cloudy and the temperature was low. I wore a jacket and carried an umbrella, just in case it rained. By afternoon, it became sunny and warm. I took off my jacket and went for a walk in the park. It was windy, but not too cold. By evening, the weather turned foggy, and I stayed indoors. In this paragraph, we practiced cloudy, temperature, jacket, umbrella, rained, sunny, warm, windy, cold, foggy, all in real-life context. Let's now learn vocabulary related to free time and hobbies. When people talk about their hobbies, they use words like read, draw, paint, play, exercise, listen, watch, travel, cook, and write. For example, I love to read novels in the evening, or she enjoys painting in her free time. You could say, he plays the guitar really well, or we watch documentaries every weekend. Repeat after me. I like to cook new recipes, or traveling is my favorite hobby. These sentences make conversations about hobbies smoother and more engaging. Here's a short hobby-focused practice exercise. John loves spending his weekends doing fun things. On Saturday, he reads a mystery book in the morning. In the afternoon, he plays tennis with his friends. On Sunday, he cooks lunch for his family and watches a movie in the evening. He also listens to music and writes in his journal before going to bed. This short paragraph includes common verbs and hobby-related vocabulary that make your storytelling more natural. Let's now go into vocabulary related to health and body. Some of the most useful words include head, arm, leg, hand, foot, eye, ear, nose, throat, pain, hurt, swollen, injury, bandage, and temperature. You could say, "My leg hurts after the run," or "She has a sore throat and needs to rest." Try saying, "I have pain in my back," or "His foot is swollen after the accident." These are very important words when describing your health or when seeing a doctor. Practice with this story. Anna went hiking last weekend. She walked for many hours, and by the evening, her legs were tired. The next day, she had pain in her knees and back. She used a heating pad to feel better. She also drank warm water because her throat was feeling dry. After some rest, she felt much better. Again, a simple life story with very useful health-related vocabulary. Let's look at words related to home appliances and furniture. These include fridge, microwave, oven, blender, fan, heater, lamp, sofa, table, chair, desk, drawer, cupboard, and shelf. You might say, "I put the vegetables in the fridge," or "She heated the soup in the microwave." Repeat, "I cleaned the shelf and arranged the books," or "He sat on the sofa and turned on the lamp." Knowing the names of common items around you helps you describe your home more easily in English. Now let's do a short practice paragraph. My kitchen has a fridge, a microwave, and a small oven. I use the oven to bake cookies on weekends. Next to the fridge, there is a shelf where I keep my spices. In the living room, there is a large sofa and a coffee table. I also have a lamp beside the sofa, and I turn it on every evening when I read. The bedroom has a desk, a chair, and a cupboard. I keep my clothes in the cupboard and my books in the drawer. This paragraph alone covers at least 15 home-related words. Now we move into vocabulary that helps describe people, both appearance and personality. Words like tall, short, young, old, slim, chubby, handsome, beautiful, kind, funny, polite, smart, brave, lazy, friendly, and honest are used all the time. For example, "He is tall and slim," or "She is friendly and polite." Try repeating, "My brother is smart and very brave," or "Her daughter is young and funny." These words are great when you're describing someone or introducing them to others. Let's try a descriptive story. Emma is a young girl with long brown hair. She is very kind and always helps her classmates. Her friend Jack is short but very smart. He loves to tell jokes and makes everyone laugh. They both are very friendly and honest. When you describe people like this, using appearance and character words, it becomes easier to communicate and relate to others. Another great group of vocabulary words come from everyday actions. These include basic verbs like eat, drink, walk, run, sit, stand, open, close, write, type, read, and sleep. For example, I usually eat lunch at 1 p.m. Or, he opened the door and walked outside. Try saying, she read a book before sleeping. Or, we stood in line at the bank. These action words are so common that you'll hear and use them in almost every English sentence. Now, let's do a short paragraph for practice. I woke up early and got out of bed. I opened the window to let in fresh air. Then, I walked to the kitchen and drank a glass of water. I sat at the table and wrote in my journal. After breakfast, I went outside for a short run. When I came back, I read a chapter of a new book and then took a nap. You can use this story as a model to describe your own day using basic verbs and actions. Let's now look at some words that are very common in places we visit frequently, like banks, hospitals, schools, and offices. When you go to the bank, you may hear words like account, balance, deposit, withdraw, ATM, card, cash, transfer, form, and signature. For example, you might say, I went to the bank to withdraw some cash, or I deposited money into my account. Repeat this. I filled out the form and signed it at the counter. These phrases are simple and extremely useful when dealing with money or talking to bank staff. Now think about the hospital. Words like appointment, nurse, patient, doctor, treatment, clinic, medicine, emergency, test, and report are commonly used. You could say, the patient had a blood test today, or I scheduled an appointment with the doctor. Try this one. The nurse gave me medicine for the fever. Practicing these real-life expressions helps prepare you for situations where clear communication is very important. Now let's create a short vocabulary practice story based around a hospital visit. Yesterday, I wasn't feeling well. I called the clinic and booked an appointment. When I arrived, the nurse asked me to fill out a form. Then I met the doctor. She gave me some medicine and told me to take rest for 2 days. I went to the pharmacy, got my prescription, and returned home. In that short paragraph, you learned and repeated words like appointment, clinic, nurse, doctor, medicine, rest, pharmacy, and prescription, all used in natural context. Now let's talk about vocabulary. Used in schools or educational settings, some useful words include teacher, student, classroom, board, pen, notebook, lesson, homework, assignment, exam, result, grade, and subject. You might say, the student forgot to bring his notebook, or we had a math exam today. Try saying, the teacher explained the lesson on the whiteboard. Repeating these sentences will help you become comfortable when speaking about education in English. Let's do a short school-themed practice. Maria is a student in grade 10. Every day, she carries her books and notebook in a backpack. She attends 6 subjects daily, including English and science. Her teacher gives homework and assignments regularly. Before exams, She studies at the library. After the results come, she checks her grades online. This simple story introduces vocabulary like student, grade, books, subjects, homework, assignment, exam, library, and results. All useful words you can use in your own stories. Now let's go through words related to events and celebrations. Life is full of events, like birthdays, weddings, holidays, parties, and festivals. Vocabulary connected to these includes gift, card, cake, invitation, guests, decorations, music, balloons, dress, dance, lights, and celebrate. For example, I gave her a birthday gift, or the room was decorated with lights and balloons. Try saying, we danced and enjoyed the music at the party. These words are warm, joyful, and used in everyday discussions with friends and family. Let's use these in a story. Last weekend, I went to a birthday party. The room was filled with lights and colorful balloons. There was a big chocolate cake and many guests. Everyone gave gifts and wrote messages on the card. We listened to music, danced, and took lots of photos. It was a fun celebration. From this short paragraph, you can remember words related to events in a happy and meaningful way. Let's now move to vocabulary related to travel. These words are essential, especially if you're planning to visit a new city or country. Important travel-related words include ticket, passport, luggage, flight, airport, hotel, reservation, tour, guide, destination, map, and journey. You can say, I booked a flight to London, or I packed my luggage and took my passport. Repeat this. We stayed at a hotel near the beach, or the tour guide showed us around the city. These words are very useful in real-life situations, especially when you're interacting with people at airports, stations, or tourist places. Let's practice with a story. Last summer, my family planned a trip to the mountains. We booked our tickets online and packed our luggage a day before the flight. At the airport, we showed our passports and got our boarding passes. The flight was smooth, and we arrived at our destination on time. We checked into the hotel and joined a local tour. The guide took us to the best spots, and we enjoyed our journey a lot. In this short story, we used more than 10 travel-related words, naturally and clearly. Let's now explore vocabulary related to emotions and reactions that are common in conversations. Words like surprised, shocked, grateful, jealous, worried, calm, hopeful, and confident are expressive and meaningful. For example, I was surprised to see her at the party, or he felt grateful for the help he received. Try saying, she seemed calm before the interview, or they were confident about their performance. Using emotion-rich vocabulary helps you sound more fluent and expressive in conversations. Let's try a story. When Lisa opened the gift, she was truly surprised. She smiled and said thank you. Her friend was happy to see her reaction. Later, Lisa said she felt grateful and lucky to have such a kind friend. That night, she went to bed feeling hopeful and calm. These emotional words make your English richer and help people connect with what you're saying. Let's now talk about time-related vocabulary. These include words like morning, afternoon, evening, night, today, tomorrow, yesterday, week, month, year, hour, and minute. These are so commonly used that you'll need them in almost every sentence. You might say, I met her yesterday, or I will call you tomorrow evening. Try repeating, the meeting lasted for an hour, or this month has been very busy. Time-related vocabulary helps in scheduling, planning, and storytelling. Let's practice a paragraph together. This morning, I woke up at 6:30 and had breakfast by 7. At 9 o'clock, I started working. By afternoon, I had finished most of my tasks. In the evening, I went for a walk and then had dinner. Last night, I slept early. Tomorrow, I plan to go shopping in the afternoon. These sentences not only help you practice time-related vocabulary, but also improve your sentence structure and fluency. Now let's focus on opposites, pairs of words that contrast with each other and are very useful for expressing differences. Examples include hot and cold, big and small, early and late, fast and slow, happy and sad, light and dark, clean and dirty, and young and old. For instance, today is hotter than yesterday. Or, his room is always clean, but mine is messy. Try this sentence. I arrived early, but my friend was late. Opposites are great for adding variety and clarity to your conversations. Here's a short activity. The cat is small, but the dog is big. The water is cold, and the soup is hot. She is young, and her grandmother is old. The car is fast, but the bus is slow. These basic but powerful word pairs will help you describe situations, people, and objects with more depth. The word clean is another very helpful word to know. It can be used as a verb, an adjective, or even a noun in some cases. For example, as a verb you might say, I need to clean my room. This tells someone that you are going to tidy up or organize your space. As an adjective, you could say, this kitchen is clean, which means it is neat and free of dirt. The noun form is less common, but in a sentence like, I gave the house a good clean, it's clear what the meaning is. This word is very useful in daily life and comes up often in casual conversations. Similarly, dirty is a good word to learn as its opposite. If someone says, my clothes are dirty, it means they need to be washed. Words like clean and dirty help describe your environment, your belongings, and your actions in a very direct way. That's why they are essential parts of your vocabulary. Next, we have the word drive. This is a verb most of the time. Especially when talking about transportation, you might say, I drive to work every morning. It's also used in commands like, drive safely. In casual conversations, you might even hear phrases like, do you know how to drive? Or, he drives a red car. This word is used all the time especially in cities or countries where people rely heavily on cars. Learning how to use this word in both present and past tense, such as, I drove to school yesterday, will help you sound more fluent when talking about travel or daily routine. It also shows up in idioms like drive someone crazy, which means to annoy someone a lot. This makes drive a word with many uses that go beyond just transportation. The next useful word is wait. This word comes up a lot in everyday situations. For example, please wait a minute, or I'm waiting for the bus. It can be used both as a verb and as part of useful phrases, like can't wait to see you, which means you are excited about something. It's often used when you're asking someone for time or patience. Wait here is a simple instruction that you'll hear in offices, hospitals, restaurants, and many other places. In customer service conversations, you might hear, "Thank you for waiting." Learning how to use this word naturally will help you in both polite and casual conversation settings. Let's now look at the word cold. This is both an adjective and a noun. As an adjective, you can say, "It's cold outside," or "This water is too cold to swim." As a noun, someone might say, "I caught a cold," which means they are sick with a common illness. It can also be used in expressions like a cold drink, a cold shower, or cold weather. It's a word that describes both temperature and health. So it appears very often in daily conversations. It also helps you describe your feelings, like when you say, "I feel cold," or "My hands are cold." Being able to use such words makes your conversations feel more real and natural. Now let's talk about the word hungry. It's a feeling word, and it helps express your physical need for food. You might say, "I'm hungry," or ask someone, "Are you hungry?" This is a word you'll often hear around meal times. It can also appear in idiomatic expressions, like hungry for success, which means you are eager or ambitious about something. The opposite of hungry is full, as in, "I'm full, I can't eat more." These basic feeling words help you explain how you're doing and how your body feels, something that is very important in everyday communication. Words like hungry, thirsty, tired, and sleepy are core parts of natural spoken English. Another simple but useful word is fun. This word is used to describe something enjoyable. You might say, "That movie was fun," or "We had a lot of fun at the party." It's a positive word that helps us and P.S. You describe experiences. People also use it to suggest plans, like, "Let's do something fun this weekend." The word funny is related, but it usually means something that makes you laugh. For example, "He's a funny guy," or "That joke was really funny." Understanding the difference between fun and funny can help you express your ideas more clearly. Let's continue with the word move. This is a very flexible word. You might say, "Let's move the table," meaning to change its position, or "We're moving to a new house," which means changing your place of living. It's also used in sports or dance to describe actions, like, "He made a quick move." In idioms, people say, "Make your move." To suggest taking action, understanding move in different contexts can help you talk about location, change, or action, which are common themes in daily communication. Next, we have close, which has more than one meaning and pronunciation. As a verb, you can say, "Please close the door." As an adjective, close means near, like, "The store is close to my house." The two meanings sound different. The verb rhymes with rose, while the adjective rhymes with dose. It's important to hear and understand both uses because they're so common in conversation. You might also hear close friend, meaning someone who is emotionally near you. These small differences can seem tricky at first, but once you hear them often, they become easy to remember and use. The word open is also both a verb and an adjective. You can say, "Open the window," or "The store is open now." In conversation, people might say, "I'm open to new ideas," meaning they are willing to accept something. It's a word that appears in instructions, signs, and casual talk. Being able to use both open and close smoothly in daily conversations makes you sound more fluent and natural. Let's now talk about ready. This is a great word to describe your preparation. You might say, "I'm ready to go," or ask, "Are you ready?" It's often used before starting something. In school or meetings, someone may ask, "Is everyone ready?" It also appears in phrases like, "Get ready," meaning prepare yourself. Using ready helps express your status or the status of something else, and it's a great word to help you follow or give instructions clearly. Another important word is call. This is used in both phone conversations and general interactions. You might say, "I'll call you later," or "She called me yesterday." It can also be used in expressions like, "Call me when you're free," or "Don't forget to call the doctor." Beyond phones, you might hear, "They call him Mike," meaning that's his name or nickname. This word helps you describe actions, identity, and communication, which are major parts of daily life. You might also find it useful to group similar words together as a way to remember them better. For instance, words related to feelings such as happy, excited, nervous, angry, tired, and relaxed can be learned together. That way, your brain associates them as a group and remembers them more easily. Another good example is words for personality traits like honest, kind, rude, brave, funny, and shy. If you make small word clusters like these, it helps your brain form better connections. As we move through these 500 words, you'll start noticing categories forming naturally in your mind. That's a great sign that your vocabulary is expanding in a meaningful and organized way. Let's keep this momentum going. Consider the word borrow. This word means to take something for a short time and give it back later. For example, "Can I borrow your umbrella?" Or, "I borrowed a book from the library." It's very useful in daily life. Now, look at its partner word, lend. To lend means to give something temporarily. For example, "I lent my friend some money." Borrow and lend are often confused, so learning them together will help you avoid mistakes. The more you see how words relate to one another, the stronger your vocabulary will become. Let's also focus on how to use words like enough. This word shows that you have as much as you need. For example, do we have enough chairs? Or, she didn't eat enough. It's used in so many different ways. You can say enough money, enough time, or enough people. Pay attention to the word order, too. When enough is used with a noun, it goes before it, like enough food. But when it's with an adjective, it goes after, like strong enough or tall enough. These patterns help you speak more accurately and confidently. That's what makes vocabulary learning powerful, not just knowing the word, but knowing how to use it. Another everyday word is fix. This is a simple and useful verb, meaning to repair something. For example, can you fix my phone? Or, the mechanic fixed the car. People use this word all the time, in homes, offices, and even with emotions. For example, let's fix the problem. Or, she tried to fix the misunderstanding. It's a great word that works in many situations. It also appears in phrasal verbs like fix up, which means to improve or clean something. For example, we fixed up the guest room, or fix on, as in, they fixed on a date for the meeting. Just from one word, you can explore so many expressions that you'll hear in real life. The more we explore, the more confident you will become in using them naturally in your speech. When you're living everyday life in an English-speaking environment, the vocabulary you use naturally covers the most common areas. Things like work, home, shopping, traveling, health, communication, and emotions. Let's continue learning more vocabulary with real-life example sentences so you can start using these words immediately in your own speaking and writing. For example, let's look at some shopping-related vocabulary. Words like checkout, receipt, aisle, refund, and cashier are used all the time in supermarkets or stores. For instance, you could say, "Excuse me, where is the checkout counter?" Or, "I lost my receipt. Can I still return the item?" Or, "The cashier was really friendly today." These phrases help you become comfortable using English in real-life buying and selling situations. Now, let's talk about some household vocabulary. Words like furniture, appliance, vacuum, curtains, and laundry are all extremely common when you talk about your home. Try using them in sentences like, "I need to buy new furniture for the living room." Or, "The washing machine is my favorite appliance because it saves time." Or, "I do laundry every Saturday morning." These simple words are what native speakers use daily, and they are essential to speak fluently and naturally about your everyday surroundings. Let's also go over health and wellness vocabulary, which is useful in both emergencies and regular situations. Words like appointment, symptom, prescription, clinic, and checkup are helpful. You can use them like this. "I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. My main symptom is a sore throat." Or, "You should go to the clinic for a quick checkup." These words not only help you when you're at the doctor's office, but also make your English sound more complete and responsible. Now, let's move to workplace vocabulary. Essential if you work in an English-speaking environment or communicate with English speakers online. Words like deadline, project, meeting, promotion, and report are common in office environments. Example sentences include, I have a deadline to meet by Friday, or she got a promotion because of her excellent performance, or let's schedule a meeting to discuss the next steps. Learning these workplace words helps you not only speak well, but also understand your coworkers and supervisors more clearly. We should also include some basic travel vocabulary, since many English learners use the language while visiting other countries. Important words include reservation, passport, boarding pass, luggage, and destination. Try these sentences. Do I need a reservation to dine here? Or, I can't find my boarding pass. Or, my luggage was delayed. These words will help you communicate effectively at airports, hotels, restaurants, and transportation hubs, giving you more confidence to travel independently. Let's now look at communication vocabulary. Words that help you express your thoughts and interact with others. Common words include message, conversation, reply, request, and notification. Use them like this. I sent her a message yesterday. Or, he didn't reply to my email yet. Or, that notification keeps popping up on my phone. These are everyday words, especially useful for online communication and phone conversations. Now, let's turn to some emotional vocabulary, because being able to talk about your feelings is an important part of fluency. Words like excited, nervous, confused, grateful, and worried help you express your internal state. Use them in sentences like, I'm excited about the trip, or she looked confused when I explained the directions, or I feel grateful for your help. These are natural, real words that people use every day to describe how they feel. To further improve your vocabulary, it's helpful to not just learn individual words, but to also focus on collocations. That means words that often go together. For example, we say make a decision, take a break, catch a cold, and have a meal. Learning these combinations helps you sound more like a native speaker and avoid awkward phrases. For instance, instead of saying do a decision, which is incorrect, you'll know it's make a decision. Let's quickly review more action words that you can use daily. Verbs like organize, prepare, fix, carry, and borrow appear often in both casual and professional English. For example, I need to organize my closet this weekend. Can you fix the printer? Or, she borrowed my umbrella this morning. These are powerful, high-frequency verbs that allow you to talk about your activities with more clarity. Finally, for this part, let's explore more relationship-related vocabulary. Whether you're talking about friends, family, or colleagues, you'll often hear words like neighbor, partner, classmate, colleague, and acquaintance. You can use them like this. My neighbor helped me carry groceries. Or, she's a great colleague to work with. Or, I met an old classmate at the reunion. These words help you describe your relationships clearly and naturally in English. And now, we come to the final set of words that you can add to your vocabulary toolkit. These last few words are just as essential and practical as the ones we've been learning so far. Let's begin with the word restore. This means to bring something back to its original condition. You might hear it in daily life when talking about old buildings, health, or digital fill, as, for example, they are working to restore the old train station. Next is borrow. This is a simple but important word we use all the time. To borrow means to take something for a short time and return it later. For example, can I borrow your pen for a second? It's a very polite and friendly phrase to use in social and work settings. Another useful word is cancel. This means to stop something that was planned, such as a meeting, a trip, or an appointment. For example, they had to cancel the event due to the weather. Then we have arrive. This word is used to describe when someone or something reaches a place, like, my parents will arrive at 6 p.m. Following that is the word invite. We often invite people to events or gatherings. For example, did you invite Sarah to the dinner party? It's great for building and maintaining relationships in English-speaking environments. Let's now look at deliver. This is a word we use when something is being brought to a person or place, especially goods or services. For example, they will deliver the package tomorrow. Another word is prefer, which is used when talking about choices. You might say, I prefer tea over coffee. It shows your personal likes and dislikes. Then we have protect, a powerful verb used when you're keeping someone or something safe. For example, we must protect the environment. Now let's add the word compare. This is used when you examine two or more things to understand their similarities or differences. For instance, let's compare these two phones before buying one. Next is warn, an important word when giving someone advice about danger or problems. For example, I warned her about the slippery road. Another very useful word is spend. You can spend time or money. For instance, she spends a lot of time studying English. Then comes save, which can be used in the opposite context, like saving time, money, or even lives. I'm trying to save money for my vacation. Let's finish with a few last everyday words. Arranged. This means something has been organized, in order. For example, I arranged the books on the shelf. Then, explore, which means to travel around or learn more about something. You might hear, they want to explore the city on foot. Finally, we have achieve, a word that reflects success. It means to reach a goal, like, she achieved her goal of speaking fluent English. These are words you'll find in almost every part of life, from home to work, from conversations to reading. So now that we've reached the end of this vocabulary journey, you've learned 500 practical English words that are commonly used in daily life. If you review this list regularly, and more importantly, practice them in real-life situations, you'll see a noticeable difference in how confident and fluent you become. The goal is not to memorize these words quickly and forget them, but to slowly and steadily bring them into your everyday conversations, writing, and listening activities. Try speaking out loud with these words. Create your own example sentences or use them in shadowing exercises. The more you use them, the more natural they'll feel. Remember, vocabulary is the building block of any language. With strong vocabulary, you can express your ideas more clearly, understand native speakers more easily, and engage in conversations with confidence. And don't worry, if you forget some words along the way, just keep coming back, reviewing, and using them again. English learning is a journey, and every new word brings you one step closer to fluency. Thank you so much for staying with me through this full vocabulary practice session. I hope you found it helpful, enjoyable, and packed with useful examples. If you want more lessons like this, be sure to subscribe to our channel, English in Minutes, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our upcoming videos. We upload fresh, practical, and simple English content every day to help you become more fluent, one day at a time. This is Natasha, signing off for today. Keep practicing, stay confident, and remember, every word you learn takes you closer to fluency. See you in the next video.